Chapter 2, A Journey Within. The math test had gone terribly. Krishna had studied the night before, but between cricket highlights, WhatsApp pings and half-finished sketches, his study time had slipped away. The questions in the paper mocked him. He walked home with his head down, his classmates whispering, "He's always distracted." No wonder. At home, Krishna slammed his bag on the floor. "I can't do this. Everyone else is better than me. I start things, but I never finish." His voice cracked. Just then, his neighbor, Mr. Iyer, an elderly retired professor, appeared at the gate. He had seen Krishna grow up and often chatted with him about books and life. Seeing his sad face, he called out gently, "Krishna, why such a storm on your face today?" Krishna hesitated but finally blurted out, "Uncle, I can't focus. I want to study, but my mind runs everywhere. I feel like a failure." Mr. Iyer invited him to sit under the mango tree in his courtyard. He listened quietly, then said, "Your mind, Krishna, is like this tree. If the branches spread widely in every direction, the fruits are weak. But if you guide it, trim it, care for it, the tree grows strong and fruitful. Do you want to see what happens if you never learn to focus?" He pulled out an old notebook from his table. Inside were stories of his past students. One had been brilliant but scattered, always chasing many things at once. He never finished anything, Mr. Iyer explained. Today, he keeps changing jobs, never satisfied, because his mind never learned to stay steady. Then he showed another story. This girl wasn't the smartest, but she trained herself to finish one thing at a time. She became a doctor, not because she was a genius, but because she was steady. Her flame never flickered. Krishna's eyes widened. So it's not about being the smartest. Mr. Iyer smiled. It's about being focused. Even the Gita says, a resolute person has one goal, while the unfocused mind scatters in 1,000 directions. Which life do you want, Krishna? Krishna whispered, "I want to be steady." The next day in class, their teacher dimmed the lights and placed a candle on her desk. "Children," she said, "for 2 minutes, just look at this flame. If your mind wanders, bring it back." At first, the students giggled. Someone tapped a desk, someone yawned. But soon, the room grew silent. Krishna stared at the flame. His thoughts jumped. Cricket, his failed test, what his mother would say. But each time, he remembered Mr. Iyer's words, "Bring it back." Slowly, his breathing calmed. Afterwards, the teacher asked, "How do you feel?" Krishna raised his hand softly. "It felt like my mind was lighter, like the noise inside went quiet." That evening, Krishna practiced again. 5 minutes with the candle, then 10 minutes of math without his phone. When he solved a problem correctly, he smiled. It wasn't easy, but it was possible. Weeks later, his parents noticed a change. Krishna still loved drawing and cricket, but now he set times for them. Study first, play later. His test scores improved. More importantly, his confidence returned. Sitting again under the mango tree, he told Mr. Iyer, "Uncle, I never thought I could do it. But your words made me try." "Thank you." Mr. Iyer chuckled. "Don't thank me, child. Thank yourself. You lit your own flame. Now keep it burning steady." Sparkles practical for the reader, woven into story. Try Krishna's practice at home. Light a candle, or just pick a steady object like a pencil. Look at it for 2 minutes. Notice how your mind jumps, then gently bring it back. Slowly increase the time. This small habit will train your mind like a muscle, helping you focus on studies, sports, or any dream you chase.